Hi everyone, welcome back to Essie Cooks, and in this video we're going to be doing another vegan high protein meal prep in 1 hour's time. So we're going to be making breakfast, lunch, and dinner in this one. We're going to be starting off with these amazing healthy breakfast cookies, which are so good. Then we're going to be making a Thai coconut red curry with tofu, and we're going to be making this sort of lentil, delicious, meaty pasta sauce with walnut. So good. And let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is preheat that oven to 350. We're going to start with baking up these breakfast cookies. So we're going to start with 3 ripe bananas, throw those directly into a large bowl, and we're going to mash them up until we get a really nice consistency. So these ones weren't as ripe as I would like. The riper the better. It's going to be sweeter. It's going to taste better. And look at that. That's the consistency we're looking for. If you keep mashing, you are going to get there. Now we're going to add in our peanut butter. So that's half a cup of all natural peanut butter. If you want, you could use almond butter or cashew butter instead. That would be totally fine. Then we're going to add in for our sweetener a 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup. This is going to make it taste so good. And the bananas are sweet as well. Then we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of ground flax. We're going to mix that together. The flax are actually going to really help this all bind together, as well as the bananas. And then we're going to add in half a cup of chopped nuts or seeds. So dealer's choice here. You can use whatever you like. I used some chopped up almonds, and I used some pumpkin seeds, and then 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and a little pinch of salt if your peanut butter is not salted. Now, 2 cups of rolled oats. We're going to throw those directly in and give this a really good stir. So it's quite sticky. Check that out. So it kind of looks like it's really going to work out. Are these really going to stick together? But they do. Okay, so I wanted to have craisins in mine, and my husband wanted to have chocolate chips. So I actually split the batter in half. I put some chocolate chips and I put some craisins or raisins. You can put whatever you want there. If you're doing the whole batch with raisins, you would use half a cup of craisins or raisins. And then if you're going to be using dark chocolate chips, you can use half to 1/3 cup of dark chocolate chips. But like I said, I used like a 1/4 cup of the craisins and a 1/4 cup of the dark chocolate chips just to mix it up to our own personal preferences. I think it tastes so good with the craisins, but if I'm crazy, you let me know, because my husband thinks there's no way to do it with raisins or craisins, and they're way better with chocolate chips. Look at that. There's a preview. Okay, but right now I gotta throw those into the oven. So that's going to be at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, or until they're golden brown. I'll show you in a few minutes how to check that they're ready. Now we are going to start to make that lentil sauce for our spaghetti. So the first thing we need is half of a yellow onion. We're just going to finely dice that up, and that's going to be kind of the base for it. And then we're going to also need a bunch of garlic, so about 3 cloves of garlic. Oof, that onion is burning my eyes. I have kitchen goggles. I didn't put them on, but here's a trick. Just flick some water, just a few speckles of water on top of your onion, and it really helps reduce the fumes, I promise you, because my eyes are so sensitive. Then I've got my 3 cloves of garlic. I'm going to mince those up really nicely, push those over to the side. Now, this is kind of like the secret ingredient. It's 1 cup of chopped walnuts. We want to chop them up quite finely. Alternatively, you can just throw them in the food processor and give them a couple quick pulses, but I decided to just chop them up because they were already halfway chopped anyway. So 1 cup of chopped walnuts. They taste so good, so meaty. Walnuts are really a longevity food. They're so good for your brain, for your health. Okay, next we have sun-dried tomatoes. We have half a cup of sun-dried tomatoes in oil. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of oil in there. You don't necessarily have to in here. And then I've got 1 19-ounce can of brown lentils. I actually cooked my own lentils ahead of time, but this is the equivalent of 1 can of lentils. We're going to give that a few pulses in the food processor, but you don't have to do that. You can actually just mash it up. It depends on the consistency that you want, so you could just mash it in a bowl if you'd rather. Now, a large Dutch oven or large pot on medium heat. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of the oil from the sun-dried tomatoes. We're going to add in our diced up onion, and we're going to add in our finely diced walnuts. We're going to give that a nice stir. It really enhances the flavor of the walnuts to toast them up a little bit in the pan. So we're going to cook them, stirring fairly often, for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then we're going to add in the garlic and the tomato paste, and we're going to cook that for 1 minute in the pan because we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to burn it. But doing this really is going to enhance the flavor of the sauce. Now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning blend. Same thing, stir that for around 30 seconds just to bloom the spices. It smells so good at this point. I hope that you guys are going to love this sauce. It's so good. The sauce itself is freezer friendly. Okay, so we've got a large can of tomato sauce or passata. You can add that directly in. That was 680 milliliters, and we're going to stir that all together, make sure everything is nice and combined. Now, like I said, with the lentils, you're going to want to use your discretion if you want to hit chunks of lentils or not. I put a little bit of water and swirled it around the can because this is what I always do. Don't add too much water, but this sauce will thicken up due to the lentils, so you should be okay to add a bit of water in there. All right, now the lentils. You can see the consistency that I like to have them. So you just do you on that. If you like them more pureed in, fine. You are still gonna get that meaty texture, especially from like little chunks of walnuts, which sounds strange, I know, but don't knock it till you try it. You gotta try that and let me know what you think. All right, so lentils directly into the sauce. And like I said, the lentils will thicken it up a little bit, so be mindful of that. You may have to add a little bit of water or a little bit of veg broth to thin it out, but stir that all in until everything is really nicely combined. And then to add some depth and some really amazing umami, we're gonna add a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. If you don't have balsamic vinegar, you can sub soy sauce, which once again sounds weird, but it does taste really good. Okay, I'm gonna throw the lid on. I'm gonna just remove that to a different element. I'm gonna put it on low heat and I'm gonna allow it to simmer, but keep an eye on that. Don't forget to stir. And at this point, my cookies are done. Oh my goodness, look at those. These have been so good to eat all week. I guess it hasn't been all week, it's been like 2 days, but I've been enjoying these for the last 2 days. So let's flip them over. This is how you can tell that they're done. They are just golden brown and beautiful on the bottom. So that's how you know they're done. Check for that. If they need to bake longer, great. If they don't, amazing. Now, actually, I tried a chocolate chip one and they were so good because they tasted like banana bread. Yum. Okay, now we're gonna start making some rice. So I'm gonna cook 1 cup of rice in 2 cups of water. You can use whatever rice you like, or you can use quinoa instead. If you want to make it a little bit more fiber, a little bit more protein, you're totally welcome to use quinoa. But I was just really craving, sorry, to have white rice with the Thai red curry. So I'm going to get that cooking. If you're a rice cooker, even easier. Now we're going to chop up 4 cups of veggies. Once again, dealer's choice. You can choose whatever veggies you like for this. I'm using carrots and mushrooms and bok choy, but you can use eggplant, zucchini, snap peas, red bell peppers, any vegetables that you like that you think would go really well, broccoli, cauliflower. There's so many different veg that are going to be good in here. I also grabbed 4 green onions, which is going to add a really nice flavor to this as well. I'm saving the tops of the green onions to throw on top. I've got my bok choy there. I'm not going to do it whole. I'm just going to cut it into nice little bite-sized pieces. This is probably more like 5 cups of veggies, but I just wanted to get a lot of veggies in. So yeah, around 4 to 5 cups you can use. Now I'm going to grab my water and salt it to boil my pasta for my spaghetti. Okay, now to my Thai red curry, I've got another large pot. I know there's a lot of pots going on here. Large pot on medium heat, and I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of red Thai curry paste. And then I'm going to add the fat part from a can of full fat coconut milk. So make sure you're scooping off that fat part off the top, and you can see, look, there's that watery liquid underneath. So if you can, take that, and we're just going to boil that down for 1 to 2 minutes with the Thai red curry paste just to really enhance those flavors. That's going to be our base. You're probably thinking, why didn't you put oil in the pan? But you really don't need to, because the coconut milk itself is quite fatty, and so you're going to get those delicious flavors. You don't really need to add oil into this, in my opinion. Okay, now we're going to add the rest of the can of coconut milk directly into that same large pot for our Thai red curry. And I forgot, look at all the pots that are going on and happening here. But it's going to save me throughout the week so much. I hope that you guys love this meal prep because I find it such a game changer. Okay, now I'm going to cut 1 block of extra firm tofu into cubes. I'm going to put that directly into that Thai red curry. Now, if you freeze your tofu and then thaw it, it's going to be such a better texture and it's going to absorb the flavor better. It adds these little air pockets into it, and just, I find it's amazing. So yeah, if you have the time, do that. What I do is when I take my tofu home from the grocery store, I put it directly in the freezer, and then I take it out and allow it to thaw in the fridge. Okay, stir in all your veggies now as well and let that simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes until those veggies are nice and al dente. Now, the water is boiling for my pasta, so I need 1 box of spaghetti noodles, 1 standard box. You can use whatever kind you like. I had these Fiber Smart ones that I got just because they were on sale, but you can use whatever. You can use chickpea noodles, you can use lentil noodles, you can use just regular ones. Keep in mind that even, the white noodles have protein in them. So you're getting a ton of protein per serving in this lentil walnut pasta. You can check out all the macros on essycooks.com. We're starting to add all the nutritional information onto the website, onto the blog. So if that is important to you, please check that out. Okay, now I'm just going to give my rice a little fluff because that is almost done. You can see, make sure you're still stirring everything as we're going with a lot of moving parts. I'm going to leave that rice to fluff for 5 minutes. Now the spaghetti noodles, I'm going to give those a little stir, cook them al dente. Do not overcook the pasta noodles. Okay, now back to the sauce. For our pasta sauce, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. That adds a really nice cheesy flavor and it adds some nutrients, but we want to add this in at the very end because we don't want to kill all the vitamin and nutrients in there. Of course, it's fine if you add it in earlier, but we're just going to keep a better flavor and everything if we add it in at the end. And same thing with the salt and pepper. Add those in at the end and then taste it and see if you need to add more. Now look at that beautiful meat, dare I say meaty, or will I get in trouble? I don't know, but look at how good that looks. And it tastes just as good as it looks. Make sure you have enough salt and pepper in there. I would say that. Okay, now I'm going to grab a little bit of the pasta water, about 3/4 cup. I'm going to add that directly into the sauce. And now I've strained my cooked noodles. I'm going to add them directly into that sauce as well. I actually had intended to add a few big handfuls of spinach in here for greens because I wasn't thinking of having a side salad, but I didn't do that because I totally forgot. So if you want to add some greens in, you can go ahead and add the spinach in at this point right now as well. That will only take about 1 minute to cook. So if you want it chopped, great. You don't even have to chop it. You can just throw it in. It would be delicious in here too. But I guess so now I'm having a side salad with this. So this actually, I put it in 4 servings, but for me, this would be 5 servings. It is quite filling. It's quite high in protein and everything like that. So for my husband, maybe 4 servings, for me, 5. You can always adjust this meal prep to your own goals and your own preferences and your own hunger levels and everything like that. These are just ideas to get started with, and don't feel bad if your kitchen is looking like this because we have a lot going on and we're gonna have to leave those dishes till the end. Now I'm gonna just start divvying this up between containers. Also, don't feel bad if your containers are random like this. Not everything is aesthetic, and that is totally okay. Not that I don't love an aesthetic container, but hey, if you don't have all matching containers, that's totally fine. Just work with whatever you have in the house and you can make this happen. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Actually, the whole point of this is to actually save you time and money throughout the week. Now I'm going to add a little bit of parsley right on top of my pasta because that's so tasty. Now back to the Thai red curry, I'm going to add a tablespoon of soy sauce. I used a dark mushroom soy sauce and a teaspoon of some kind of sweetener. So I used brown sugar. You can use maple syrup, whatever you want. Now look at that beautiful pasta, but you can see the servings are quite generous. So depending on your appetite, you may want to make this into 5 servings. And I saw that my brother actually froze his pasta with sauce on it. I would recommend, and so that is totally something you can do, but I would recommend if you're going to do that, maybe freeze the sauce separately and then cook the noodles when you're ready. But hey, if you just want to have a ready out of the freezer meal, it is possible that you can actually freeze that as well, which is great. Just don't overfill the containers. Okay, now we're on to the Thai red curry. We're going to split that between 4 containers here with our rice. I'm putting my rice into a bowl and packing it down just to make it look nice and give it that nice texture, but it's not necessary. You can do this however you like. I'm going to separate those between the 4 containers and add my few green onions on top. Now, a squeeze of fresh lime juice is so good on here, and also if you have Thai basil or fresh cilantro, that is amazing on top of here as well. And look at all the delicious food we have to eat all week long, and we're getting in so many nutrients, and we're packing up on protein and fiber. And yeah, I love this meal prep. I really hope you love it too. And of course, you're probably wondering if my dog is going to get anything. And yes, she is going to get the rice pot. I had to make sure it cooled down in the freezer before I could give it to her so that she can have a little bit of plain rice. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want more like this, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more meal prep recipes like this.